This is a short guided audio to help you relax and release your deep core muscles and pelvic floor. So, first, go ahead and find a place to lay down on your back. Maybe put a pillow under your knees so they can just totally relax but be bent. And it puts your pelvis and your back in a nice neutral position that you can really just melt into. So, I'm going to start out by explaining the visual and purpose of your pelvic floor so you can really feel into it, and it will help you be able to let go of those muscles as well as contract. This audio will just be about letting go and using breath work and awareness to do that. So, your pelvic floor muscles are this amazing hammock of muscles that run from your pubic bone to your tailbone. And they also come in from the side. And you can almost visualize them a few ways, like one kind of like a trampoline of muscle or muscles, because there's different fibers and different angles that they come in from, or a flower that is blooming open. And when you're contracted and lifted up, that flower is kind of like a rosebud pulling up. Or you could think about it kind of like a hammock, but we do want to have the visual of muscle fibers coming in from the side as well. So these muscles can either be too taut, like too tight to where they really have a hard time releasing, or they can be too loose. So either way can be functionally weaker. We want to have the ideal pelvic floor is toned and it can release completely as well as contract. And when you do this, these muscles hold up all of your internal organs. So by being able to contract and release just leaves sort of health and vitality in this whole area that is so important. So if you are overly tight in there, we're going to use your breath to help release it. And you may find that if you have any kind of struggle with back pain or incontinence or anxiety or stability in your body or your lower ab connection, all of these things can be affected if your muscles are too tight and can't let go, or too loose and can't contract as well. So we're going to work on both of those. But this one is just for letting go. So now we're going to add the breath to that visual. We're going to start out with 2 just good full breaths in and out, just to completely let go of your body and melt in. So inhale to a count of 4 through your nose. Pause at the top of that inhale for 2 seconds. And then exhale to a count of 4. And just sit at the bottom of that exhale for a moment, just a moment. And then do it again. Inhale in your nose. Feel your lungs build up. Feel the air come into your belly. Pause at the top of that. And then exhale. Blow it all the way out. Feel the air blow all the way out, not just to your chest, but all the way down into your pelvic floor. And then just take some normal breaths here. So the reason the pelvic floor is so connected to the breath is without conscious breathing, it's really difficult to connect down to that pelvic floor. And a lot of times when we are busy, anxious, stressed, sometimes even excited, we chop off our breath at our ribs, and it really never makes it down to our pelvic floor. And the reason this is important is because when you breathe, you're using your diaphragm as a muscle to move air in and out. So when you inhale, that diaphragm is like a dome. And as you inhale, that dome of your diaphragm pushes down and is connected through fascia to your pelvic floor. I'll say that again. So when you inhale and your belly fills up and your lungs fill up, you can kind of feel that diaphragm pushes down. It then kind of domes open your pelvic floor muscles. It pushes them down just a little bit. It's not as much of a push as it is an expansion because you need to get the air in. And when you exhale, especially during movement, that diaphragm comes up to allow your core muscles to be able to wrap in. So the breath is deeply connected to your pelvic floor. For this recording, we're going to use your inhale and your exhale to release. So let's try it. Inhale again to a count of 6. And as you're inhaling, I want you to picture that pelvic floor area, the trampoline, the flower, like blooming open. And as you exhale, I want you to just really let go of everything. So just relax that effort of the blooming, relax your shoulders, relax your neck, relax your throat, let it all go. And on the next inhale, again, think about come down into that pelvic floor with your mind. Inhale, expand, open. It expands out to the side. And that expansion isn't a push, it's just at the brink of a push. And see if you can just notice some space in there. It might be hard to let go of. Exhale, release all of that. Blow it all the way out. See if on the next inhale you can get the air down a little bit lower into your belly. Feel how that pelvic floor is attached to your sits bones and up to your pubic bones. So feel that if it's a flower of muscle, bloom it open to the sides, to the front, to the back. Again, you're not bearing down, but you're just on the brink of a push of those muscles. More expansion. Exhale, let it all go. On your next conscious inhale, again, see if your breath can get a little bit longer. See if you can reach that count of 6 and just feel the expansion, the blooming, the opening, all the way up inside your spine, to the side, to the front, to the back. Exhale, let it all go. What's interesting is if we tend to live with some tension, those muscles really respond to that because with tension, we shorten our breathing. And when we shorten our breathing, that diaphragm isn't moving up and down. It's connected to our pelvic floor through the fascia. And so that pelvic floor is almost kind of getting really grippy and taut. The other things that you might notice is when we hold on to that tension in there, again, all kinds of things can be affected from incontinence to sexual wellness. The definition of an orgasm is to be able to contract and release. And when we're just held in contraction, it's really hard to achieve that kind of pleasure as well. It all relates mentally and physically. So next time you need to let go, really practice like coming inside your core, inside your body. Inhale and exhale to let go. There'll be another audio about how to use your exhale during movement to contract those muscles. The inhale always adds a little bit of a release because it's hard to pull your belly button in and draw up from the inside when there's air in there. Now pay attention to what you notice on the inside. Can you feel a sense of calm? Maybe a little spark of something in there. Instead of kind of feeling grippy, that release might help you tap into that deeper chakra of creativity, playfulness, and sexuality, groundedness. This is one great way to come into your body instead of spinning in your mind and gripping in your body. So pay attention to what you feel and what you notice. Does your back feel looser from the inside? Can you feel your hip bones from the inside? Maybe feel a little bit wider so you're not pinching and gripping. Pay attention to what you notice and see if you can take it into your day. Thanks for listening.